Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Pike High School on the west side of Indianapolis as Indiana Swimming YouTube channel presents day number 2 of coverage of the 2023 Indiana Swimming Senior Short Course Championships sponsored by Speedo. I'm Eric Eaton, and we're about ready for event 3. Our coverage here on this webcast is in the North Pool, and for Friday prelims in the North Pool, the women will compete in this pool. Our first event coming up shortly will be event 3, the women's 200 freestyle relay. This is a timed final event. The fastest seeded heat will be swum with finals tonight. So we're going to start with heat 2, I believe. Unfortunately, we haven't been handed heat sheets at this point, so I'm going to do my best to try and tell you who's in what lanes, but until they get us some heat sheets here, it's going to be a little difficult. All right, we've just been handed the heat sheets, so we're ready to go here. We're going to start with heat 2 of the women's 200-yard freestyle relay. In lane 1, Riviera A. Lane 2, Northridge Area Swimming Association A. Lane 3, Boilermaker Aquatic A. Lane 4, Noblesville A. Lane 5, Fort Wayne Swim Team B. Lane 6 is Plainfield Aquatics A. Lane 7, Fishers Area C. Lane 8, Zionsville B. Lane 9, Noblesville B. And Lane 10, Southeastern Swim Club of Fishers B. So we were handed the heat sheets right before the start of the race there. So we'll check Meet Mobile for the names on this first heat. Looks like with the lead here in lane 3 is going to be Boilermaker A. Meet record set in 2016, 132.46 by Carmel Swim Club. Again, heat 1, the 10 fastest seeded teams in the women's 200-yard freestyle relay will swim tonight with finals. This is a time final event, though. Boilermaker Aquatic still with the lead in lane 3 here in this heat, being followed closely by lanes 4 and 6, it looks like here. Noblesville A in 4 and Plainfield Community A in 6. These are the anchor legs in the pool. Noblesville coming on strong with the anchor leg. That's Caroline Santier. Will she give her team the win? And she does. Noblesville A with the win in heat 2, so this will be the time to beat in the time final, 138.62. And second place in lane 3, Boilermaker A, in a time of 138.77. Again, all our competition on this webcast on the Indiana Swimming YouTube channel is from the North Pool this morning. This is where the women are competing. We're ready for heat 3. Women's 200-yard freestyle relay. In lane 1, Avon Community A, Taylor on leadoff. Lane 2, Flashes A, Gogus on leadoff. Lane 3, Irish B with Woods on leadoff. Lane 4, South Bend A, Hollis leads things off. Lane 5, Crown Point A, Stimmick on leadoff. Lane 6, Sugar Creek A, Melavage on leadoff. Lane 7, Cardinal Community A with Lundy on leadoff. Lane 8, Carmel B, Cummings leads things off. Lane 9, Washington A, Countryman the leadoff swimmer. And in lane 10, Summit City B with Madison Weisel on leadoff. 10-lane pool here at the Pike Aquatic Center. And we've got 2 competition pools in use here this weekend. Number 2 swimmers here in heat 3, Avon Community A will be Hutchick, Flashes A, Sewell, Irish B, Domaluski, South Bend A, Narenberg, Crown Point A, Morse, Sugar Creek A, Hessler, Cardinal Community A, Yant, Carmel B, Ledine, Washington A, Horsley, Summit City B, Crawford. Lane 9 at the top of your screen has the lead right now, Washington Township A. Your number 3 swimmers, Avon A is Goff, Flashes A Foster, Irish B Marion, South Bend A Christian, Crown Point A Newitt, Sugar Creek A Horton, Cardinal Community A Gibbs, Carmel B Dawson, Washington Township A Wolf, and Summit City B Hind. Still at the top of your screen here, it's Washington Township A in lane 9. Coming on in lane 3 is Irish B. Your anchor legs, Avon A, Brown, Flashes A, Sharp, Irish B, Hayes, South Bend A, Zakali, Crown Point A, Tufts, Sugar Creek A will be Schmitzer Torbert, Cardinal Community A, Alexander, Carmel B, Fagan, Washington Township A, Buning, and for Summit B, Hove. And it looks like in lane 5 comes on and takes the win at the finish. Crown Point A with a great anchor leg by Bella Tufts. They go 139.61. That's Crown Point A. Finishing second in lane 4, South Bend A in a time of 139.62. 138.62 still the time to beat. Fourth and final heat. Again, Heat 1 swims with finals tonight. That's the fastest seeded heat. In Heat 4, Lane 4, Lawrence A, led off by Brio Vale. Lane 5, Newburgh Sea Creatures A, Ava Butterfield on leadoff. Lane 6, Zionsville C, Allie Baroker on leadoff. And Lane 7, Brownsburg A with Addison Hainan on leadoff. Just 4 teams in this fourth heat. Again, a time final in the women's 200-yard freestyle relay. This is event 3, our first event of this session here on Friday morning at Pike High School. With the lead in lane 5 is Newburgh Sea Creatures A. Let's take a look at the number 2 swimmers for Lawrence A. Emerson Leon. For Newburgh Sea Creatures A, Madeline Porter. For Zionsville C, Molly Simmons. And for Brownsburg A, Ellie Nolte. Newburgh Sea Creatures with about a body length lead. Number 3 swimmers about ready to hit the pool. Here are those athletes. For Lawrence A, Molly Miller. For Newburgh Sea Creatures A, Emery Wilson. For Zionsville C, Ava Peterson. And for Brownsburg A, it'll be Kennedy York. Zionsville making a little bit of a run here. Moving up on Newburgh Sea Creatures in lane 6 here. On this third leg, they may take over the lead as we go to the anchor legs here. Zionsville C in lane 6, our anchor legs. For Lawrence A, Elizabeth Fritz Kent. Newburgh Sea Creatures A, Zara Ahmed. Zionsville C, Ava Fleming. And for Brownsburg A, Bailey Crawford. Zionsville C looks like they're en route to winning this fourth and final heat of the timed final event. Once again, the top-seeded heat will swim with finals tonight. See what the winning time is for Zionsville C. We'll wait for the clock to cycle through here. 141.29 for them out in lane 6. So the time to beat heading into tonight will belong to Noblesville A with a time of 138.62. Again, the time final, meaning that any team from any heat can take the overall win and score points for their respective teams, or in this case, they are as a team in the relay, competing as a team. Our next event here in the North Pool, and they have a 50-meter pool here at Pike High School that they can put a ball cat in and make 2 25-yard pools out of it, and that's what they've done here for this weekend to allow us to use 2 pools here at this event. Our order of events here on this Friday prelim session, we just saw a time final. We're going to have prelims now for our next event, event 5, the women's 400-yard IM. We have 5 heats of prelims. We follow that up with the 100 freestyle prelims, the 200 backstroke prelims, the 100 and the 100 breaststroke prelims, and then a timed final in the 800 freestyle. the fastest heat in the 800 freestyle 800 free relay rather, will be tonight. So our final event from this Friday prelims will be the 800 freestyle relay. That'll be event 13 here in the North Pool for the women. We take a look at the 400 IM coming up here shortly. We've got, it looks like 51 entries in the 400 IN for the women. There's going to be just a brief break here before they get the event underway. Well, 5 heats of time finals. Looks like for the 400 IM, they're only going to, the fastest 2 heats will be circle seated heats. So that means your last 2 heats, heats 4 and heat 5, in this event will have your fastest seated swimmers here in the 400 IM. Qualifying time standard for the senior state championships for the women in the 400 IM. .452.59. I'd like to thank our sponsors making this broadcast possible and the event possible. Speedo. Speedo is an official sponsor of the Indiana Swimming LSE and Championship meets. And Ellsmore Swim Shop. The Ellsmore Swim Shop is the official supplier and sponsor of Indiana Swimming and Team Indiana. Zionsville Swim Club is the host meet, is the meet host rather, for this event, the 2023 Indiana Swimming Senior Short Course Championship, sponsored by Speedo. Zionsville, as I said, being the meet host. Meet directors are Tim Sands and Norman Binyard. Entry chair is Natalia Kostova. Your meet and administrative referee, your meet referee is Doug Galinsky, and your administrative referee this weekend is Troy Ticker. Tom Moore is the facilities manager here at the Pike Aquatic Center. So thank you to all those individuals, everybody with the Zionsville Swim Club, everybody on the staff here at the Pike Aquatic Center, and the volunteers for helping to make this event run smoothly this weekend. We have 4 days of competition. Yesterday was just we didn't have prelims on Thursday. We just had a time final for both the men and the women in the 1650 last night. And then we've got 2 full sessions today, then Saturday and Sunday with prelims, and then finals. Finals start tonight at 5 p.m. here at Pike High School. And so we're getting ready to swim our first event, which will set the finals order for tonight's competition in the women's 400-yard IM. Meet record in the 400 IM set by Hannah Kukuruga back in 2017 with a time of 4:12:34 from the Crown Point Swim Club. Association record set in 2019, Bailey Anderson, time of 4:02:37. We also have 17-18-year-old association records, 15-16 as well. 17-18 association record, Kukuruga holds it as well. It's the same time as the meet record, 4:12:34, so it was set at this meet, the 17-18 association record. 15-16 association record, Kelly Pash from the Carmel Swim Club holds that. That was set in 2017, and that's a time of 4:10:97. Junior national cut in this event is a 4:15.19. The national cut time, national cut standard is 4:10.49. So those are some additional times these athletes will be shooting for. Get themselves qualified for some additional meets in this event. Your top seed will be swimming heat 5. It's Audrey Crawford from the Southeastern Swim Club. So stroke order for the 400 IM. Start with butterfly, transition to backstroke, breaststroke, and then freestyle. And I will tell you, watching 400 IM races over the years, that breaststroke leg is usually a leg to keep your eye on, because quite often we see from swimmers come from off the pace in that breaststroke leg, and quite often those are whoever takes the lead in the breaststroke leg goes on to win it. A couple of reasons. Breaststroke being the slowest stroke that there is, 100 yards gives you a lot of time to make up some ground that perhaps you lost in the first 2 strokes. And also, if you're leading at the end of the breaststroke leg and you start the freestyle, you're swimming the fastest stroke while everybody else is swimming breaststroke. So those are a couple of reasons why the breaststroke leg tends to dictate quite often who wins some of these heats in the 400-yard IM. Does not mean it's going to be the case here today. We'll keep our eye on it, though. Had a 10-minute break in competition after the 200 freestyle relay, so that's why we're still waiting a few minutes here to get the 400 IM underway. By the way, we've got a second webcast underway in the South Pool. That's the men's competition. They're also at a break right now as well. Tony Young, the executive director of Indiana Swimming, will be handling that webcast in the North Pool today of the men's prelims. Same events as you're watching here from the North Pool here at the Pike Aquatic Center. And both broadcasts are archived, so if you want to go back and watch one of them later, you can do so, or watch both of them later. All right, we're ready for heat 1 of 5, women's 400-yard individual medley. In lane 1, it'll be Mila Burkott, 15-year-old from Summit City Aquatics. Lane 2, Maya McDonald, 17-year-old from the Noblesville Swim Club. Lane 3, Madison Conley, 15-year-old from the Carmel Swim Club. Lane 4, Eliza Newitt, 17-year-old from the Crown Point Swim Club. Lane 5 will be Alex Aiken, a 17-year-old from the Indiana Swim Club. Lane 6 is Julia Kiley, 17-year-old from the Southeastern Swim Club. Lane 7 is Tegan O'Connor, 17-year-old from the Fort Wayne Swim Club. Lane 8 is Harper Aiken, 15-year-old from the Indiana Swim Club. And in lane 9 will be Bree Goges, a 16-year-old from Flashes Aquatics. Underway on the butterfly here. Lane 4, the early leader, that's Eliza Newitt from the Crown Point Swim Club. Lane 1 here at the Pike Aquatic Center at the bottom of your screen. Lane 10 at the top of your screen. More than a body length lead for Newitt in lane 4 from the Crown Point Swim Club as she concludes the butterfly leg and will transition to backstroke. Up in lane 7, it looks like Tegan O'Connor is in second place as she begins the backstroke leg. Lane 10 is open, by the way, in this first heat of 5 in the women's 400-yard IM. Still 50 yards to go on backstroke. It's still Newitt out in front in lane 4. And then a battle for second, lane 6 and 7. Kiley in 6 and O'Connor in 7 on the backstroke leg here. Lane 6 and 7 are really closing in on Newitt for the lead here as we're on the back half, last lap of the backstroke leg. Also making a move, a strong move on backstroke here in lane 2 at the bottom of your screen is Maya McDonald from Noblesville. Good four-way battle as we get ready to hit the breaststroke here. Athletes transitioning to breaststroke. And we'll see what happens on the breaststroke leg here. Will the field come back together? It's pretty tight as it was. We had 4 swimmers battling for the lead at the end of the backstroke leg. Looks like McDonald in lane 2 with a slight lead over Tegan O'Connor in lane 7. Still just a little less than 50 yards to go on breaststroke. McDonald and O'Connor out in front. Check that in lane, it's actually lane 6, Julia Kiley, who's in second place battling with McDonald. O'Connor is in third place in lane 7. So almost dead even between McDonald in 2 and Kiley in 6 as we start the freestyle leg. 100 yards here left in this opening heat. Maya McDonald in lane 2 from Noblesville. In lane 6, Julia Kiley from the Southeastern Swim Club. Looks like Kiley has gone ahead now as she makes a turn here at the starting block end and starts her final 50. And this is a prelim swim, so this is not a time final. But these swimmers are trying to get themselves in one of our respective finals tonight. You have to be in the A final to win the overall competition. Julia Kiley from the Southeastern Swim Club, the 17-year-old, is going to win the opening heat. Her winning time, we'll get it for you here in a minute, in lane 6, 4:39.18 for Kiley. Getting second in lane 2 was Maya McDonald. 4:41.02. Her time in third place in lane 7 was Tegan O'Connor from the Fort Wayne swim team in a time of 4:49.18. Going to move to heat 2 now, 5 preliminary heats. In lane 1, Emily Knott, 16-year-old from the Noblesville Swim Club. Lane 2, Sophia Walker, 16-year-old from Power Aquatics. Lane 3, Marie Hessler, 15-year-old from the Sugar Creek Swim Club. Lane 4 will be Haley Pollock, a 15-year-old from the Zionsville Swim Club. Lane 6 is Maggie Hadley, 17-year-old from Zionsville Swim Club. Lane 7, Jillian Gessie, a 15-year-old from Boilermaker Aquatics. Lane 8 is Maggie Sutton, 15-year-old Noblesville Swim Club. Lane 9, Brio Vale, 18-year-old from the Lawrence Swim Team. And lane 10, Willa Critchett, a 15-year-old from the South Bend Swim Club. Heat 2 here, women's 400-yard IM. Top of your screen in lane 9, it's going to be Brio Vale from the Lawrence Swim Team with the lead after the butterfly leg. Lanes 5 and 6 battling for second here on the backstroke leg. Hannah McNally and Maggie Hadley battling for second, lanes 5 and 6. Closing in on Vale as well here in the front half of the backstroke leg. Right in the middle of the pool, lanes 5 and 6 battling for the lead. Nally in 5, Hadley in 6 here. We conclude the backstroke leg and get ready to transition to breaststroke. Those two touch simultaneously. Taking control of things on the breaststroke leg here in lane 6 is Maggie Hadley from the Zionsville Swim Club. And coming back now and moving back into second place in lane 9 here is Brio Vale from the Lawrence swim team. She is into second place. So a good breaststroke leg for her as she was the early leader, fell back to third, now back up into second. Hadley's going to have a big advantage here as she starts the freestyle leg with everybody else swimming breaststroke still. The leader in lane 6. Second place in lane 9 here is Brio Vale. Vale being challenged now for second by Hannah McNally in lane 5 from the Carmel Swim Club. McNally has moved into second place still with 50 yards to go on freestyle. Maggie Hadley from the Zionsville Swim Club is going to win this second heat. Makes her final flip turn at the far end of the pool and now heads back for home. Have a good battle for third at the finish. Hadley winning time in heat 2. 4:37.96. Second place went to Hannah McNally in a time of 4:44.19. Strong close in lane 7 by Jillian Gessie. Gets third in a time of 4:45.90. As we move now to heat 3, the women's 400-yard IM preliminary swims. Heat 3, lane 1 will be Kate Seidenfaden, 16-year-old from Indiana Swim Club. Lane 2, Kayla Fisher, 16-year-old from the Center Grove Aquatic Club. Lane 3, Celeste Hollis, 17-year-old from the South Bend Swim Club. Lane 4, Grace Stimmick, 15-year-old from the Crown Point Swim Club. Lane 5, Hattie Vose, 15-year-old from Noblesville Swim Club. Lane 6, Kat Lundy, 17-year-old from Cardinal Community. Lane 7 will be Natalie Kramer, 15-year-old from Summit City. Lane 8, Libby Marshall, 16-year-old from the Riviera Swim Team. Lane 9, Eloise Harrison, 16-year-old from the Southeastern Swim Club of Fishers. And lane 10, Ellie Benjamin, a 17-year-old from the Fort Wayne Swim Team. Once again, lane 1 at the bottom of your screen, lane 10 at the top here at Pike High School. Beautiful aquatic center here on the west side of Indianapolis. Right in the middle of the pool from Noblesville here, Hattie Bowes will lead it at the end of the butterfly leg as everyone transitions to backstroke. Halfway to go. Still on the backstroke leg. Vose still leads in lane 5. Tonight for finals, there will be an A final, a B final, a C final, and a D final. That's what everybody's trying to get themselves qualified into tonight or later tonight from these prelims this morning. I believe the D final, though, is a closed final to just athletes 15 and 16 years old of age who did not qualify for the A, B, or C final. So your 10 fastest swimmers ages 15 and 16 who did not qualify for one of those other 3 finals. Breaststroke leg underway. Bose still leads in lane 5. In second place, right above her, Kat Lundy from Cardinal Community in lane 6. Also giving chase in lane 7, putting on a good performance so far, is Natalie Kramer from Summit City. Those 3 are pretty much battling for the lead. Also in lane 2 now, coming on strong on the breaststroke leg, Kayla Fisher from Center Grove Aquatic. She has moved into second place, and we still have 50 yards to go. Bose still leads in lane 5. .25 yards to go on the breaststroke leg. Bose in lane 5 has led wire to wire so far. It is tight behind Bose. You have Fisher in lane 2, and then also in lane 7, Kramer from Summit City right there with Bose as all 3 athletes start the freestyle. The race is on for those 3 individuals to see who will win this heat. Bose, about a body length lead with a 50 to go. She's out in front of Kayla Fisher in lane 2 from Center Grove Aquatic. Good freestyle leg by Hattie Bose, pulled away from the field on the freestyle and cruises in to win the heat, and we'll see what the winning time is for Hattie, 4:39.12. Second place went to Kayla Fisher in a time of 4:41.95, and third place in lane 6 was Kat Lundy in a time of 4:44.96. Top time so far belongs to Maggie Hadley from Zionsville in a time of 4:37.96 as we start heat 4. In lane 1, Bella Tuff, 16-year-old from Crown Point Swim Club. Lane 2 is Chloe Vitito, 16-year-old from Franklin Regional. Lane 3, Lily Hines, 17-year-old from Summit City. Lane 4, Anna Stoll, 17-year-old from the Southeastern Swim Club. Lane 5, Avery Stein, 17-year-old from Fishers area. Lane 6, Katie Brenneman, 15-year-old from Concord Swim Club. Lane 7 is Kirsten Lee, 17-year-old from the Fort Wayne Swim Team. Her teammate is in lane 8, Peyton O'Connor. She's a 15-year-old. Lane 9, Annabelle Herman-Sinski, 17-year-old from the Zionsville Swim Club. And in lane 8, Lily Wolf, an 18-year-old from the Washington Township Swim Club. So we have 2 circle-seated heats here in the 400 IM. This is the first of 2. So your second fastest seated swimmer, Avery Stein, is in lane 5. She's the second fastest swimmer in this event. Right now, out in front here in lane 8 is Peyton O'Connor from the Fort Wayne Swim Team as she starts the backstroke leg. And Stein, who is, I said, the second fastest seated swimmer, the top seated swimmer in this heat, making a move in lane 5 on the backstroke leg. She's moved into second place behind O'Connor, who still leads in lane 8, halfway through the backstroke leg. Good underwater work there by Avery Stein, and she's pulled right up even with O'Connor. Just a slight edge still to O'Connor as they make their final turn on the backstroke leg. Far end of the pool. Avery Stein is from Fisher's area. Has taken over the lead. And now moving up and challenging O'Connor for second in lane 2 here is Chloe Vidito from Franklin Regional. Now I'm going to challenge Stein for the lead on the transition to breaststroke. Like Stein has the lead in lane 5. And with O'Connor, both O'Connor in lane 8 and Vidito in lane 2 giving chase. Stein looks like be a really good breaststroker. She's extending her lead in lane 5. And also with a very strong breaststroke leg here in lane 4, Anna Stoll from Southeastern Swim Club, as she has moved into a battle for second now with Peyton O'Connor in lane 8. Quick turn by Stein on the far end of the pool. Long underwater pullout. And she's about ready to conclude the breaststroke leg here in the 400 IM and start the freestyle leg. That being Avery Stein. 4 lengths of the pool left for her, and second place in lane 4 at the time being is Anna Stoll from Southeastern Swim Club with a very nice breaststroke leg. She starts her freestyle. Third place in lane 8 is Peyton O'Connor from the Fort Wayne swim team. And your meet record set by Hannah Kukuruga back in 2017, a time of 4:12:34. Avery Stein's going to win heat 4. And she's going to set the fastest time so far. Still has 50 yards to go. The fastest time, 4:37.96, so. Stein is going to definitely surpass that. And we'll see what it'll be here, the finishing time. Good battle for second behind her. Right around 4:29 for Stein. Clock will cycle through here. 4:29.04 for Stein. Second place, we actually had a tie for second. As I said, we were having a good battle. It actually ended up being a tie. Lane 7, Kirsten Lee and Peyton O'Connor in lane 8 tied for second at a time of 4:32.44. Fourth and final heat, our fastest seated swimmer will be in this heat, as it's a circle seated heat. In heat 5, lane 1, Mary Elizabeth Cespedes, 16-year-old from the Valparaiso Swim Club. Lane 2 is Lily Baumgardner, 18-year-old from Boilermaker Aquatics. Lane 3, Mia Wilson, 16-year-old from Fisher's area. Lane 4, Aylin Zerlini, 16-year-old from the Newburgh Sea Creatures. Lane 5, Audrey Crawford, 16-year-old from the Southeastern Swim Club. Lane 6, Sydney Nethercutt, 17-year-old from Northridge Area Swimming Association. Lane 7, Molly Simmons, 16-year-old from the Zionsville Swim Club. Lane 8 will be Autumn Bruns, an 18-year-old from Fort Wayne Swim Team. Lane 9, Emily Buning, 18-year-old from the Washington Township Swim Club. And in lane 10, Olivia Owens, 17-year-old from Trojan Aquatic Club. Looks like right now as we start the backstroke leg here, in lane 5, it's Audrey Crawford from Southeastern Swim Club, is the top seeded swimmer in the event, 4:21.80 time, the seed time with the lead. Crawford in lane 5 in first, and second place right above her there is Sydney Nethercutt North Ridge-area. So lanes 5 and 6 battling for the lead here on the backstroke leg. And this is the final heat of preliminary swims in the women's 400-yard IM. Time to the fastest time so far, posted by Avery Stein. Previous heat 4:29.04. So if you want to have the top seed in the A final tonight, that's what you're going to have to swim faster than. This has turned into a pretty good battle here right in the middle of the pool between Crawford in 5 and Nethercutt in 6. In lane 7, Molly Simmons is not giving up either here on this breaststroke leg. Crawford has still led it so far wire to wire in lane 5 from Southeastern Swim Club. This is our second day of competition here at the 2023 Indiana Swimming Senior Short Course Championships, sponsored by Speedo here at the Pike Aquatic Center in Indianapolis. Crawford pulling out to a little more than a body length lead now here at the conclusion of the breaststroke leg over Nethercutt in lane 6. Crawford starts the freestyle leg. Yards left now for Audrey Crawford, this 16-year-old from the Southeastern Swim Club. Trying to get a spot in the A final here tonight in the 400 IM. Looks like she is en route to doing that. Will she be the top seed? She definitely has a shot. It looks like she is going to be the top seed. Audrey Crawford will be the top seed tonight in the A final. Her winning time here in this preliminary heat, 4:25.83. 4:25.83. Second place went to Lane 6. The places on your scoreboard are not correct. Second place in Lane 6 went 4:30.59 for Sydney Nethercutt. Lane 7 got third in a time of 4:35.68. That was Molly Simons. So the 400 IM is complete. We'll move on now to event 7 for the women here in the North Pool here at the Pike Aquatic Center. That is Pike Aquatic Center. This will be the 100-yard freestyle. We have 82 entries in the 100-yard freestyle, so we'll have 8 heats of prelims. Looks like they may take a 5-minute break here before they start this event. Like heats 6, 7, and 8 will be the circle seated heats here in the 100-yard freestyle. So your three fastest swimmers will be in those final three heats. Three fastest seeded swimmers will be in those final three heats. Your top seed will be in Heat 8 in the women's 100-yard freestyle. Lily Christensen, a 17-year-old from the Irish Aquatics. So they're taking a 5-minute break here. We have a second. And thank our sponsors. Speedo is an official sponsor of the Indiana Swimming LSC and all championship meets. And Ellsmore Swim Shop. The Ellsmore Swim Shop is the official supplier and sponsor of Indiana Swimming and Team Indiana. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Indiana Swimming. Indiana Swimming is one of the 59 local swimming committees that make up USA Swimming. Indiana Swimming would like to wish all of this weekend's competitors good luck and fast times. Indiana Swimming, creating opportunities for swimmers to realize their dreams. And again, our broadcast is coming to you on the Indiana Swimming YouTube channel. We've got all 4 days of coverage for you on the Indiana Swimming YouTube channel at this event this weekend. Started last night with the 1650s here at the 2023 Indiana Swimming Senior Short Course Championship, sponsored by Speedo, here from the Pike Aquatic Center at Pike High School in Indianapolis. 2 25-meter competition pools in use for prelim sessions this weekend. Here in the North Pool today, the women are swimming and the men are swimming in the South Pool. For Saturday prelims, they will flip. The men will be here in the North Pool and the women in the South Pool. I'll have your coverage for you here on the North Pool on the prelims each day. Tony Young, Executive Director of Indiana Swimming, on the South Pool for prelims. And Tony and I will both be with you for finals each night. And competition for finals will be right here on in the North Pool. So 8 heats of prelims in the women's 100-yard freestyle. Meet record set last year by Lily Christensen from Irish Aquatics in a time of 48.96. And she's in the event. She is your top-seeded athlete in this event in lane 5. Time of 48.57 for Lily. So we'll see her in heat 8. We'll talk more about her as well when we get to heat 8. We're ready for heat 1 now of 8 preliminary heats. In lane 1, Claire McAfee, 17-year-old from the Zionsville Swim Club. Lane 2, Juliana Weinrich, 16-year-old from the Carmel Swim Club. Lane 3, Isabella Amaya, 18-year-old from the Westfield Aquatics. Lane 4, Kennedy York, 14-year-old from the Brownsburg Swim Club. Lane 5, Aaron Taylor, 16-year-old from Avon Community. Lane 7, Olivia Mott, 16-year-old from Noblesville Swim Club. Lane 7, Dylan Horsley, 18-year-old from the Washington Township Swim Club. Lane 8 is Sadie Leininger, 16-year-old from the Fort Wayne Swim Team. Lane 9, Mara Bader, 18-year-old from Jay County. And lane 10, Dylana Plant, 15-year-old from the Munster Swim Club. Good start in lane 7 here by Horsley from the Washington Township. Lane 1 at the bottom of your screen. Lane 10 at the top of your screen. We have a 10-lane pool here at the Pike Aquatic Center. Horsley still with the lead in lane 7. Coming on in the middle of the pool in lane 5 is Taylor from Avon Community. Well, Dylan Horsley will take the opening heat in lane 7 in time of 54.79. And second place in lane 5, 55.56 for Aaron Taylor. Heat 2, lane 1, Guinevere Schmitzer-Torbert, 16-year-old from the Sugar Creek Swim Club. Lane 2, Sydney Matthews, 16-year-old from Trojan Aquatic. Salazar, 18-year-old from Boilermaker. Lane 9, Claire Schuler, 15-year-old from Capital Aquatics. And then lane 10, Lyric Irish, a 17-year-old from the Terre Haute Torpedoes. And this is a tight field right now with 25 yards to go. Everybody, lanes 1 through 10, in contention for the win in the heat. What a race here. Might not be able to call it here. We might have to wait for the scoreboard to cycle through. Might be lane 3. Yes, it's going to be lane 3 with the win. Katie Countryman from Washington Township, 54.95 for Countryman. Second place in lane 6 was Sensabaugh at a time of 54.99. Heat 3, we use flyover starts here in prelims. In lane 1, they don't waste any time. In lane 1, Naomi Hines, 15-year-old from Southeastern Swim Club. Lane 2, Brooke Cummings, rather, a 17-year-old from Carmel Swim Club. Lane 3 is Ellie Parrish, 17-year-old from Fort Wayne. Lane 4, Sophia Hewlin, 16-year-old from Fishers area. Lane 5, Hannah Pryor, 16-year-old from Boonville. Lane 6, Addison Hainan, 15-year-old from the Brownsburg Swim Club. Lane 7, Claire Doberdeni, 14-year-old from Irish Aquatics. Lane 8 is Demi Hansowicz, 17-year-old from the Terre Haute Torpedoes. Lane 9, Casey McNulty, 18-year-old from the Munster Swim Club. And in Lane 10, Haley Meyer, an 18-year-old from PCA. Another tight race here coming to the conclusion. Looks like Lane 5, I believe, this time going to take the win here. That'll be the case. That's Hannah Pryor from Boonville. Hannah 53.78. The second place in Lane 7 was Doberdeni, 54.10. Heat 4, Lane 1, Bethany Brown, 15-year-old from Avon Community. Lane 2, Vanessa Domalewski, 16-year-old from Irish Aquatics. Lane 3, Jocelyn Radke, 20-year-old, and from Uncia. Lane 4 is Lori Antelis, a 16-year-old from Boilermaker. Lane 5, Madeline Harvey, 17-year-old from Riviera. Lane 6, Luca McGee, 17-year-old from Summit City. Lane 7, Maria Alexander, 18-year-old from Cardinal Community. Lane 8, Grace Sharp, 15-year-old from Flashes Aquatics. Lane 9 is Lauren Bergman, 18-year-old from the Southeastern Swim Club. Lane 10, Avery Christian, a 16-year-old from Zionsville Swim Club. Luca McGee from Summit City will take the win. Lane 6, 53.13 for Luca. And second place in Lane 9 was Lauren Bergman, 53.82. Heat 5, Lane 1, Elizabeth Dolan, 17-year-old from Riviera. Lane 2, Lauren Fetcher, 17-year-old from Boilermaker. Lane 3, Ripley Merritt, 17-year-old from Summit City. Lane 4 is Kaylee Kelly, 18-year-old from the Mount Vernon swim team. Lane 5, Avery Woods, 17-year-old from Irish Aquatics. Lane 6, Maddie Lathrop, 17-year-old Carmel Swim Club. Lane 7, Karen Table, 18-year-old from Indiana Swim Club. Lane 8, Tenley Wilkins, 15-year-old Center Grove Aquatic. Lane 9 is Addie Mattern, 15-year-old from Center Grove Aquatic as well. And in Lane 10, Taylor Stasny, 16-year-old from the Munster Swim Club. Heat 5 of 8. We're going to move into our circle seated heats after this. And the win here in this heat will go to Lane 4, Kelly, in a time of 53.03. Second place, well, they took the scoreboard down. You have to check Meet Mobile for that. I apologize. Heat 6, Lane 1, Ava Metzger, 15-year-old from Zionsville Swim Club. Lane 2, Natalie Marshall, 18-year-old from Fort Wayne. Lane 3, Ash Sapple, 18-year-old from Southeastern Swim Club. Lane 4, Ashley Friel, 17-year-old Club Olympia. Lane 5, Alexa Mishler, 17-year-old from Fishers area. Lane 6, Kirsten Lee, 17-year-old from the Fort Wayne swim team. Lane 7 is Katie Baroker, 17-year-old from the Zionsville Swim Club. Lane 8, Kylie Zoller, 16-year-old from the Southeastern Swim Club. Lane 9, Tegan Warner, 15-year-old from Duneland. And Lane 10, Sydney Nethercutt, 17-year-old from Northridge Area Swimming Association. Mishler in Lane 5 is your third fastest seated swimmer from Fishers area. She's got the lead. Going to take the win. We'll get you the time here. 51.41 for Mishler. Second place in the heat, Lane 6, Kirsten Lee, 51.80. Heat 7, Lane 1, Celeste Hollis, 17-year-old from South Bend Swim Club. Lane 2, Sam Hunter, 18-year-old from Northridge Area Swimming Association. Lane 3, Kaya Podlin, 16-year-old Irish Aquatics. Lane 4, Annabelle Swinney, 16-year-old from Zionsville Swim Club. Lane 5, Julia Mishler, 15-year-old from Fishers area. Lane 6, Sophie Kloppenberg, 18-year-old from Mount Vernon Swim Club. Lane 7 is Ella Lance, 17-year-old from Concord Swim Club. Lane 8, Eva Nordke, 15-year-old from Munster Swim Club. Lane 9, Madeline Porter, 17-year-old from Newburgh Sea Creatures. And Lane 10, Alex Evans, 16-year-old from Boilermaker Aquatics. So we had Alexis Mishler win Heat 6, and her sister Julie Mishler, both from Fishers area, obviously. Looks like she's going to win Heat 7 here in lane 5. Time for Julie Mishler, 50:49. And second place in lane 4 will be Swinney, 51:44. Heat 8. Final heat, lane 1, Peyton O'Connor, 15-year-old Fort Wayne swim team. Lane 2, Ava Butterfield, 16-year-old from Newburgh Sea Creatures. Lane 3, Anna Splund, 16-year-old Indiana Swim Club. Lane 4, Lara Phipps, 17-year-old Center Grove Aquatic Club. Lane 5, Lily Christensen, 17-year-old Irish Aquatics. Lane 6, Katie Brenneman, a 15-year-old from Concord Swim Club. Lane 7, Elena Riggins, 15-year-old Irish Aquatics. Lane 8, Reagan Graves, 16-year-old Franklin Regional. Lane 9, Avery Stein, 17-year-old from Fishers area. And lane 10, Audrey Lance, 17-year-old from Concord Swim Club. Lily Christensen is your meet record holder. She also won this event at the 2023 IHSAA state meet held back in February at the IU Natatorium. She's going to win this heat as well in prelims. And 51:31 for her. Meet record is 48:96. Lily Christensen, 51:31. Second place in lane 4 was Lara Phipps, 51:62. So your top seed tonight in the 100 freestyle looks like it's going to be Julie Mishler, the 15-year-old from Fishers area, in the A final. So there'll be another 5-minute break here in competition. And then we're going to have event 9, 200 backstroke preliminary heats here for the women in the North Pool. Looks like 5 heats of prelims.
Coaches and sorters of preliminaries upcoming women's 200 backstroke will begin at 10:07. 10:07. Just about 10:04 right now. So 10:07 will be the start of the preliminaries in the women's 200 backstroke.
Circle seeded heats will be heats 3, 4, and 5 here in the women's 200-yard backstroke. So again, a 5-minute break here in competition. Meet record in the 200-yard backstroke for the women set in 2016 by Claire Adams, 154.89. We have not seen any meet records so far broken this morning. We did see one last night in this very pool, the North Pool, in the men's 1650, the very first race of the event in this pool. So as I said, meet record is 154.89. Association record in this event set by Fasenko in 2010, 149.92. 17-18 association record, JoJo Ramey holds it. Set in 2022, last year, 153.39. Your 15-16 association record, Claire Adams, the record holder there, set in 2014, 151.87. So we've got preliminary heats in the 200 back. We'll follow that up with the 100 breaststroke, and then time finals in the 800 freestyle relay. Everybody except the 10 fastest seeded teams will swim tonight with finals. Finals tonight, both the men and the women will swim in one pool here in the North Pool. Meet starting at 5 o'clock tonight here at the Pike Aquatic Center.
Drill 1
Okay, we're ready to go here. Heat 1 of 5 in the women's 200-yard backstroke. Short course yards. In backstroke, you got a lot of turns to execute in the 200 backstroke, so we'll see how the turns factor into these preliminary heats. In Heat 1, Lane 3, Maddie Bump, 16-year-old from the Washington Township Swim Club. Lane 4, Natalie Sommers, 15-year-old from Avon Community. Lane 5 would be Angelica Reznikowski, 18-year-old from Munster Swim Club. Lane 6, Ava Peterson, 16-year-old from the Zionsville Swim Club. Lane 7 will be Avery Keating, 15-year-old from PCA. And lane 8, Vanessa Gomalewski, a 16-year-old from Irish Aquatics. Of course, the Senior Short Course Championships is an open competition. It's open to any swimmer of any age, provided they meet the qualifying time standard for each individual event. For instance, in 200 backstroke for the women, you had to have at least a qualifying time of 2:12:69 to get in the field, unless you were already had made this, you had already made a cut in another event. Swimmers are allowed bonus swims, and so we will see some swimmers with bonus swims that do have an entry time that is not quite the time standard for this event, so that's how they're allowed in. Looks like out in front here in lane 6 here is Peterson from Zionsville. So, for instance, if you qualified in one event, you had a qualifying time in one event, you're allowed one bonus swim. If you had qualifying time in 2 events, 2 bonus swims. 3 qualifying events. You had 3 events where you had a qualifying time, you're allowed 1 bonus swim to get you up to a total of 4. If you qualified into 4 or more events, you do not get bonus swims. The winner here in this opening heat in lane 6 led it wire to wire, Ava Peterson, in a time of 2:12:19. And second place in lane 7 was Keating in a time of 2:13:11. We obviously do not use flyover starts in backstroke because the swimmers start in the water. Heat 2 in lane 1 will be Whitney Fung, 17-year-old from Carmel Swim Club. Lane 2, Hannah McNally, 16-year-old from the Carmel Swim Club. Lane 3, Eliza Newitt, 17-year-old from the Crown Point Swim Club. Lane 4, Bella Tuff, 16-year-old from the Crown Point Swim Club. Lane 5, Avery Woods, 17-year-old from Irish Aquatics. Lane 6, Sydney Matthews, 16-year-old from Trojan Aquatic Club. Lane 7 is Avery Witt, 16-year-old from Jennings County. Lane 8, Anna Splund, 16-year-old from Indiana Swim Club. Lane 9 is Addison Hayen. Hayen is a 15-year-old from Brownsburg Swim Club. And in lane 10, Lauren Harris, 16-year-old from Summit City Aquatics. Lane 7, the early lead here in the opening 50. That's Hayen from Brownsburg. He's got the lead still. Looks like second place in lane 4 here is Bella Tufts from Crown Point. Hayen now starts the back half of the race in lane 7, halfway through the event. And Addison is one of those swimmers that this 200-yard backstroke is considered a bonus event swim for her. We just talked about that for you a little bit in the previous preliminary heat. And she still has the lead in lane 7 with a 50 to go. or excuse me, it's actually, I believe it's a Splund who leads in lane 8 here. Yes. A Splund from the Indiana Swim Club, my apologies. She has the lead here in lane 8. And she's going to take the win from Indiana Swim Club in a time of 2:06:23 for Anna Splund. Second place in lane 4 went to Bella Tufts in a time of 2:06:32. So Splund has the fastest time so far through 2 heats. From the Indiana Swim Club, we move into the circle-seated heats now in heat 3. In lane 1, we'll have Libby Marion, 15-year-old from Irish Aquatics. Lane 2, Caroline Santier, 17-year-old from Noblesville Swim Club. Lane 3, Olivia Owens, 17-year-old from Trojan Aquatic Club. Lane 4, Ella Lance, 17-year-old from Concord Swim Club. Lane 5, Laura Phipps, 17-year-old from the Concord Swim Club. Lane 5, that was lane 5, Laura Phipps, 17-year-old from Center Grove Aquatic Club. Lane 6, Ava Butterfield, 16-year-old from Newburgh Sea Creatures. Lane 7, Addie Burrow, 16-year-old from the Fort Wayne Swim Team. Lane 8, Nicole Fant, 16-year-old from Jasper Aquatic. Lane 9 is Lily Hines, 17-year-old from Summit City Aquatics. And lane 10, Haley Pollock, 15-year-old from Zionsville Swim Club. Lane 8 with the lead here. That's Nicole Fant from Jasper Aquatic. Coming on in the middle of the pool here, lane 5, Laura Phipps from Center Grove Aquatic. Is she going to be to take the lead away from Fant, still with a 50 to go? Oh, a great 4-way battle. Lanes 3, 5, 6, and 8. In lane 3, you have Olivia Owens. Lane 5, Laura Phipps. Lane 6, Ava Betterfield. And lane 8, Nicole Fant. Looks like leading here is Phipps in lane 5 for Center Grove Aquatic Club as she comes underneath the flags for the conclusion of the heat. And she will take the win in the heat. Phipps will swim a 2:03:38. And second place went to lane 3, Olivia Owens, in a time of 2:03:78. So good finish there. Heat 4 now. In lane 1, it will be Rachel Dawson, 16-year-old from the Carmel Swim Club. Lane 2, Chloe Vidito, 16-year-old from Franklin Regional. Lane 3, Jennifer Barajas, 16-year-old from the Munster Swim Club. Lane 4, Addie Zakali, 15-year-old from the South Bend Swim Club. Lane 5, Ripley Merritt, 17-year-old from Summit City. Lane 6, Charlotte Fagan, 15-year-old Carmel Swim Club. Lane 7, the Maris Emmert, 15-year-old from Boilermaker Aquatics. Lane 8, Alexa Boylett, 18-year-old from Westfield Aquatics. Lane 9, Kate Seidenfaden, 16-year-old from Indiana Swim Club. And in lane 10 will be Ari Stieber, 17-year-old from Carmel Swim Club. Ripley Merritt in lane 5, seated second in this event. Ripley has the lead right out in the middle of the pool in lane 5 in the green swim cap. Halfway through the event. And in second place, looks like In lane 7 behind Ripley is Emmert from Boilermaker. And Emmert's taken over the lead from Ripley Merritt. Morris Emmert with the lead in lane 7. Here in heat 4, women's 200-yard backstroke preliminary heats. So 2:02:43, the winning time for Morris Emmert. In lane 5, Ripley Merritt got second at a time of 2:05:16. Fifth and final heat now, women's 200-yard backstroke. In heat 1, Anna Brown, 17-year-old from Fishers area. Lane 2, Naomi Haynes, 15-year-old from the Southeastern Swim Club. Lane 3 is Hannah Pryor, 16-year-old from the Boonville Dolphins. Lane 4, Ashley Friel, 17-year-old from Club Olympia. Lane 5, Molly Simmons, 16-year-old from Zionsville Swim Club. Lane 6, Claire Parsons, 18-year-old from Fishers area. Lane 7, Kat Lundy, 17-year-old from Cardinal Community. Lane 8 will be Lauren Fetcher, 17-year-old from Boilermaker Aquatics. Lane 9, Alex Evans, 16-year-old from Boilermaker Aquatics. And in lane 10, Audrey Lance, 17-year-old from the Concord Swim Club. Fastest seeded swimmer is Simmons, and a seed time of 1:59.21. We had 46 entries in the 200-yard backstroke. Simmons is the leader through 50 yards in lane 5. And the top time posted so far, Emmert, previous heat, 2:02:43. Simmons leads by more than a body length here, ahead of the second place athlete right now in lane 6. That's Claire Parsons from Fishers area. And Molly Simmons touches first. We'll get you their finishing time. 2:02:13, and she will be the fastest seeded swimmer tonight in the A final. We'll swim in lane 5 tonight as well. Second place in lane 3 was Hannah Pryor at a time of 2:04:29. And third place in lane 6 was Parsons at a time of 2:05:32 in the heat. And our next event will be event 11, the women's 100-yard breaststroke. It's going to be another 5-minute break here in competition. And then we'll get 7 heats of preliminary swims under for the women in the 100-yard breaststroke in event 11. Speedo is an official sponsor of the Indiana Swimming LSC and all championship meets. And so is the Elmore Swim Shop. The Elmore Swim Shop is the official supplier and sponsor of Indiana Swimming and Team Indiana. Today's broadcast is being brought to you by Indiana Swimming. Indiana Swimming is one of the 59 local swimming committees that make up USA Swimming. Indiana Swimming would like to wish all this weekend's competitors good luck and fast times. Indiana Swimming provides progressive, innovative programs that inspire excellence. We have 626 athletes competing here at the Pike Aquatic Center this weekend in this event, and 77 swim clubs. So a reminder, when we're done here, we've got the 100-yard breaststroke and then the time final in the women's 800 freestyle relay. Looks like they'll take a 10-minute break after 100 breaststroke before that 800 freestyle relay. That's a time final. The fastest seeded heat will not swim in prelims this morning. It'll swim tonight with finals. All right. All right, so we have 7 heats of preliminary swims in the 100-yard breaststroke for the women. In heat 1 here, lane 4, Aubrey Keating, a 13-year-old from PCA. Lane 5 is Nicole Fant, 16-year-old from Jasper Aquatic Wildcats. And lane 6, Bridget Mick, 16-year-old from Westfield Aquatics. Meet record set in 2018 by Emily Weiss, 59.44. Association record set in 2019 by Lily King, 55.73. 17-18 association record set in 2019 by Weiss is 58.91. Emily Weiss holds a 15-16 association record as well, set in 2018, 58.40. Fant from Jasper Aquatic out in front in lane 5. And your winning time for Nicole Fant is 1:08.89. Second place in lane 6, Bridget Mick, swam a 1:11.25. Heat 2. In lane 2, we'll have Karen Table, 18-year-old from Indiana Swim Club. Lane 3 is Lily Hines, 17-year-old from Summit City Aquatics. Lane 4, Bridget Collins, 17-year-old from Riviera. Lane 5 is Emma Gabbert, 17-year-old from Lawrence County. Lane 6, Kate Harrison, 17-year-old from Westfield Aquatics. Lane 7, Raya Ruggenstein, 14-year-old from PCA. Lane 8 is Demi Hansewicz, 17-year-old from the Terre Haute Torpedoes. And in lane 9, Anna Bramas, 16-year-old from Riviera. Lane 2 with the lead at the bottom of your screen here. That is Karen Table from the Indiana Swim Club. And going to take the win. I'll give you the time here. And 1:07.88 for Karen. Second place in lane 5 was Emma Gabbert, 1:08.70. Heat 3, lane 1, Chrissy Bazin, 17-year-old from the Mount Vernon swim team. Lane 2, Addie Zakali, 15-year-old from the South Bend Swim Club. Lane 3 is Claire Schuler, 15-year-old from Capital Aquatics. Lane 4, Dilana Plant, 15-year-old from the Munster Swim Club. Lane 5, Eleanor Weep, 16-year-old from the Greenwood Gators. Lane 6 is Alex Aiken, 17-year-old from Indiana Swim Club. Lane 7 is Mila Burkott, 15-year-old from Summit City Aquatics. Lane 8, Ella Andrews, 17-year-old from the Carmel Swim Club. Lane 9, Grace Sharp, 15-year-old from Flashes Aquatics. And lane 10, Madison Weisel, 16-year-old from Summit City Aquatics. Now, lane 2 seems to be a strong lane so far here in the breaststroke swims. There's a Kylie from South Bend Swim Club. Slight edge, I believe, heading down to the far end of the pool. And she's got the lead. Really quick rhythm on that stroke for her. Going to take the win. 1:06.76 for Addie. Second place in lane 4, Plant, went a 1:08.58. We move into heat 4 now. In lane 1, Priscilla Smith, 15-year-old from the Carmel Swim Club. Lane 2, Sophia Walker, 16-year-old from Power Aquatics. Lane 3 is Ada Emerson, 17-year-old from Greater Evansville. Lane 4, Juliana Weinrich, 16-year-old from the Carmel Swim Club. Lane 5, Mara Bader, 18-year-old from Jay County. Lane 6, Laney Brooks, 17-year-old from Sugar Grove Aquatic. Lane 7 will be Guinevere Schmitzer-Torbert, 16-year-old from the Sugar Creek Swim Club. Lane 8, Christina Baranda, 16-year-old from the Fort Wayne Swim Team. Lane 9, Brio Vale, 18-year-old from Lawrence. And lane 10, Molly Schumann, 16-year-old from the Irish Aquatics. This time it's lane 1 with the lead at the bottom of your screen. Smith from the Carmel Swim Club. Might be the athletes and coaches on the side of the pool might be blocking our view a little bit of her, but she's got the lead. The 15-year-old from Carmel Swim Club with the lead in lane 1. Now charging at the top of your screen in lane 9 and taking the win is going to be Brio Vale from the Lawrence Swim Team. Good close by her. Goes a 1:07.82. Second place was Smith in a time of 108.78. Heat 5 now, our circle seated heats, our first of the circle seated heats. In lane 5, Natalie Kramer, 15-year-old from Summit City. Lane 2, Alex Irvin, 17-year-old from Westfield Aquatics. Lane 3 will be Autumn Bruns, 18-year-old from Fort Wayne Swim Team. Lane 4, Eva Nordke, 15-year-old from Munster Swim Club. Lane 5, Kaylee Kelly, 18-year-old from the Mount Vernon Swim Team. Lane 6, Madeline Aiken, 17-year-old from the Zionsville Swim Club. Lane 7, Taylor Brackney, 17-year-old from PCA. Lane 8 is Maggie Hadley, 17-year-old Zionsville Swim Club. Lane 9, Emma Hayes, 16-year-old from Irish Aquatics. And lane 10, Julia Kiley, 17-year-old from the Southeastern Swim Club. Watching the top of your screen in lane 10 here in this heat, that's Kiley. I believe Kiley won a heat early in an earlier event here this morning. It might have been the 400 IM. Now coming on strong in the middle here in lanes 5 and 6. Kelly and Aiken. Great three-way battle of the wall. Wind's going to go to lane 5, and it'll be Kaylee Kelly at a time of 104.56. Good race there. Second place in lane 6, Aiken, 104.74. Heat 6 now. Lane 1, Carly Dodd, 17-year-old Center Grove Aquatic. Lane 2, Dylan Horsley, 18-year-old from the Washington Township. Lane 3 is Maddie Lathrop, 17-year-old Carmel Swim Club. Lane 4, Hayden Schertz, 18-year-old Summit City. Lane 5, Taylor Stasny, 16-year-old from Munster Aquatic. Lane 6, Annika Gwinther, 16-year-old from Irish Aquatics. Lane 7 will be Kaya Podlin, 16-year-old from Irish Aquatics. Lane 8, Maggie Morse, 16-year-old from Crown Point Swim Club. Lane 9, Peyton O'Connor, 15-year-old from the Fort Wayne Swim Team. And lane 10, Aylin Zerlini, 16-year-old from the Newburgh Sea Creatures. Heat 6 of 7, women's 100-yard breaststroke preliminary heats. Middle of the pool here, lanes 4, 5, and 6. Schertz in 4, Stasny in 5, and Gunther in 6. Battling. Win will go to lane 5. Taylor Stasny in time of 103.50. Fastest time so far. Second place in lane 4, Hayden Schertz, 103.89. Seventh and final heat in lane 1, Addie Zernecki, 16-year-old from the Carmel Swim Club. Lane 2 is Kylie Zoller, 16-year-old from the Southeastern Swim Club. Lane 3, Eloise Harrison, 16-year-old from the Southeastern Swim Club. Lane 4, Mary Elizabeth Cespedes, 16-year-old from the Valparaiso Swim Club. Lane 5, we have Lily Christensen, the top seed, 17-year-old from Irish Aquatics. Lane 6, Luca McGee, 17-year-old from Summit City. Lane 7, Anna Stoll, 17-year-old from the Southeastern Swim Club. Lane 8, Claire Francis, 16-year-old from Fishers area. Lane 9 will be Sadie Leininger, 16-year-old from the Fort Wayne Swim Team. And in lane 8, Jillian Gessie, 15-year-old from Boilermaker Aquatics. Lane 5 leading it right now, Christensen from Irish. At both sides of her in lane 4 and lane 6, Cespedes in 4 and McGee in lane 6 giving her a battle. Cespedes making a charge, but it looks like Christensen will hang on and take the win in the heat in lane 5. And she does at a time of 102.41. That's the fastest time in prelims. Second place in lane 4, Mary Elizabeth Cespedes, time at 102.68. One event left here for the women in prelims this morning here in the North Pool, event 13. The 800-yard freestyle relay. Heat 1 will swim tonight with finals, so we're going to have 3 heats to swim here in a few moments in the North Pool. It's a time final. We'll swim heats 2, 3, and 4. Heat 1 is the fastest seeded heat. Top overall seed, Fishers area. A will swim tonight with finals. Meet record set in 2016 by Carmel Swim Club, 7:21:11. Association record, IU holds it. Set this year, 6:58:44, so that had to be in I would assume in an NCAA event. But IU set that association record. Not sure what meet it was, but association record 6:58:44. So we're going to have a break here. It looks like a 10-minute break. And then we'll get ready for event 13, the women's 800-yard freestyle relay. We'll be back with you here in a few minutes to call the race. So tonight, we'll get things started at 5 o'clock here at Pike High School, Pike Aquatic Center. Event order tonight, 200 freestyle relay, 1 heat of time finals, the fastest heat. Events 3 and 4, then the 400 IM finals, starting with the D final, heats 5 and 6, or events 5 and 6 rather. 100 freestyle finals, events 7 and 8, 200 backstroke finals, events 9 and 10, 100 breaststroke finals, events 11 and 12, women first, followed by the men, and then the 800 freestyle relay, events 13 and 14. One-time final event there. Fastest seated heat in the 800 freestyle relay. It's the same situation with the first event of the evening tonight as well. Events 3 and 4, the 200 freestyle relay. Just one heat, the fastest seated heat. But teams that swam this morning in prelim in both of those relays can take the overall win, as it is a time final. So the 800-yard freestyle relay, each swimmer will swim 200 yards freestyle, and this is quite often an event. It's not swum that often, and we'll see. Typically, we'll see the lead change several times during the course of these relays, because each swimmer swimming 200 yards. And then one of the keys to the 200-yard freestyle, if you've got the lead at the end of any leg, you're going to put a fresh swimmer in the water, while all the other teams obviously have athletes that have swum 200 yards, so that's a huge advantage for the leading team for each leg if they can maintain the lead. looks like the men are about ready, I think, get their relays underway on the south pool, so the women should be getting ready to go here shortly for Heat 2, 800-yard freestyle relay. I'll go ahead and set the lane assignments for you. And for Heat 2, in lane 1 will be Washington Township A, led off by Katie Countryman. Lane 2, Fort Wayne B, led off by Addie Burrow. Lane 3, Zionsville B, led off by Madeline Aiken. Lane 4, Noblesville Swim Club A, actually Trickier on leadoff. Lane 5, Summit City A, with Ripley Merritt leading things off. Lane 6, Carmel A, led off by Charlotte Fagan. Lane 7, Indiana A, Anna Esplund on leadoff. Lane 8, Newburgh Sea Creatures A, Madeline Porter will get things started for them. Lane 9, South Bend Swim Club A, Addie Zaccali will lead things off. And in lane 10, Plainfield Community A will be led off by Taylor Brackney. So each athlete will swim 200 yards freestyle. That's 8 lengths of the pool. Next, it looks like they're still swimming breaststroke down on the south pool for the men. So 3 heats of time finals in this session for the women's 800-yard freestyle relay. Once again, meet record set in 2016 by Carmel Swim Club, 7:21:11. Well, we got a second. Let's thank our camera operator here this morning on the North Pool, Amy Peterson. So we're ready to go, heat 1 here. Women's 800-yard freestyle relay. Lane assignments again, Washington Township A, lane 1, lane 2, Fort Wayne Swim Team B, lane 3, Zionsville B, lane 4, Noblesville A, lane 5, Summit City A, lane 6, Carmel A, Lane 7, Indiana A. Lane 8, Newburgh Sea Creatures A. Lane 9, South Edison Club A. Lane 10, Plainfield Community A. Each swimmer swims 8 lengths of the pool, 200-yard freestyle relay. Early lead at top of your screen in lane 8 belongs to Newburgh Sea Creatures A. Madeline Porter in the water for her. Halfway through the leg. Second place in lane 7 is Indiana A, and Splund in the water for them. The top two places right beside each other. Lane 8 leads it, followed by lane 7 here. With a 50 to go for the swimmers, the athletes in this race. Final turn for Porter in lane 8 for Newburgh. And Newburgh Sea Creatures A will have the lead after the opening leg. Let's take a look at our swimmers on the second leg. For Washington Township A, it'll be Emily Buning. Fort Wayne B, Ellie Parrish. Zionsville B, Annabelle Hermansinski. Noblesville A, Maya McDonald. Lane 5 will be with Summit City A, it'll be Madison Weisel. Carmel A, Addie Zernecki. Indiana A, Alex Aiken. Newburgh A, Ava Butterfield. South Bend A, Willa Krishif. And for Plainfield Community A, it'll be Megan Siraveld. A big lead right now for Newburgh A in lane 8. Still in second place in lane 7 is Indiana A. They're being challenged, though, by the team in lane 6, Carmel A. Zernecki has got them into a battle for second place. And now they've moved into second place behind Newburgh A. Yeah, if you're Zernecki for Carmel in lane 6, you want to try and close in on Newburgh here on this final 50. Otherwise, Newburgh's going to have that advantage we talked about here just a few moments ago. A fresh swimmer in the water, while Carmel is still finishing its previous legs. That's a huge advantage for Newburgh Sea Creatures. Zernecki trying to get as close as she can here to Newburgh's Butterfield as we come up on the exchanges for the third legs. Let's take a look at those swimmers. Washington Township A, Maddie Bumps. Fort Wayne B, Ellie Benjamin. Zionsville B, Haley Pollock. Noblesville A, Hattie Bose. Summit City A, Lily Hine. Carmel A, Ella Andrews. Indiana A, Karen Tabel. Newburgh Sea Creatures A, Aylin Zerlini. South Bend A, Alyssa Nierenberg. Plainfield Community A, Avery Keating. Now nothing's changed in the top two here. You still have Newburgh Sea Creatures A in lane 8 out in front of Carmel A in lane 6. And hanging on to third in lane 7 is Indiana A on this third leg. Moving into fourth, it looks like in lane 4 here is Noblesville A with Hattie Vose. Newburgh Sea Creatures A leading it out in lane 8, and 50 to go for Zerlini. Now check that. Zerlini actually had 100 to go. Now she's coming up on the turn. We'll have a 50 to go for the Newburgh Sea Creatures as they lead Carmel A in lane 6. Moving in now, trying to challenge Carmel for that second spot here in lane 4. Noblesville A, Hattie Vose, number 3 swimmer for them, has put together a great leg here and moving up on Carmel A for second place in the heat. Anchor legs are next, and Newburgh Sea Creatures A can about put this thing away because they're going to have a big lead with a fresh swimmer going into the water here. Anchor legs, let's take a look at those swimmers. For Washington Township A, Lily Wolf. For Fort Wayne B, Sadie Leininger. For Zionsville B, Molly Simmons. For Noblesville A, Ellie Hayward. For Summit City A, Luca McGee. Carmel A, Brooke Cummings. Indiana A, Harper Aiken. Newburgh Sea Creatures A, Emery Wilson. South Bend A, Celeste Hollis. Plainfield Community A, Haley Meyer. Noblesville is in second place now on this anchor leg in lane 4 ahead of Carmel A. But Newburgh Sea Creatures out in front, but I tell you, Noblesville's giving chase here with their anchor leg, Ellie Hayward. 200 yards is a lot of time to make up a deficit. We'll see if there's enough time left. Newburgh Sea Creatures out in front still with Emory Wilson. Noblesville closing in now with 100 to go. Dead even between Noblesville and Newburgh Sea Creatures. We'll see if Wilson for Newburgh Sea Creatures can answer back on this charge from Hayward from Noblesville. Carmel still in the mix too in lane 6 with Cummings. But right now it's Noblesville out in front here in lane 4. Their anchor leg has put together a great swim, has brought them back for a pretty significant deficit here. Carmel's moved into second. Under 50 to go now. The top 2 teams had a big deficit they had to overcome against Newburgh here on this anchor leg. Again, 200 yards is a lot of time to do it, but they have done it. And can Noblesville A take the heat win here with Hayward and set the time to beat for all their other teams? They're going to do it. Noblesville A in lane 4 wins the heat. Heat 2 of time finals, 800-yard freestyle relay for the women, and a winning time of 7:57.67. Second place went to Carmel A, 7:58.38. And third place, and coming on for third, was Zionsville B in lane 3, 7:59.17. Heat 3, lane 1, Sugar Creek A. Kylie Sankey on leadoff. Lane 2, Noblesville B, Katie Sutton on leadoff. Lane 3, Flashes Aquatics A. Josie Foster leads things off there. Lane 4, Avon Community A with Aaron Taylor on leadoff. Lane 5, Southeastern B with Naomi Haynes on leadoff. Lane 6, Carmel B, Hannah McNally on leadoff. Lane 7, Zionsville C, Avery Christian on leadoff. Lane 8, Irish Aquatics B, Avery Woods on leadoff. And lane 9, Brownsburg A with Kennedy York on leadoff. Second of 3 timed final heats in this session. Again, the fastest seeded heat will swim the night with finals. Good 3-way battle here. Opening 100, lanes 6, 7, and 8. Carmel B in 6, Zionsville C in 7, and Irish B in 8. Lead now belongs to Carmel B in lane 6 with 50 yards to go in this opening leg. And moving into the battle for second now in lane 4, Avon Community, as they're going to battle Lane 7 and 8 for that spot here. That's Zionsville C and Irish B. Coming up on the exchanges now, number 2 swimmers. Let's take a look at those athletes here. Sugar Creek A, Marie Hessler. Noblesville A, Olivia Motts. Flashes Aquatics A, Bree Gogus. Avon Community A, Bethany Brown. Southeastern B, Julia Kiley. Carmel B, Ari Stiver. Zionsville C, Claire McAfee. Irish B, Vanessa Domalewski. Brownsburg A with Addison Hayen. In second place in lane 4 here is Avon Community A. And a tight battle for third. Lanes 7, 8, and 9. Zionsville C, Irish Aquatics B, and Brownsburg A. Everybody's trailing Carmel B in lane 6. Carmel B with Ari Stiver has 50 to go here now on the second leg. 800-yard freestyle relay. Still in second place in lane 4, Avon Community. Moving into third now, though, right above Avon Community, Southeastern B. And their number 2 swimmer, Julia Kiley, has made a nice move, and Julia's had a good meet today. I believe she's won a couple of heats she was on in the prelims earlier in this session. And she's pulling up even now with Avon Community as we come up on the exchanges for the number 3 swimmers. Let's take a look at those athletes. For Sugar Creek A, Catherine Novak. For Noblesville B, Bridget Keller. Flashes Aquatics A, Kylie Llewellyn. Avon Community A will be Callie Hutchick. Southeastern B, Megan Volker. Carmel B, Whitney Fung. Zionsville C, Ava Peterson. Irish Aquatics B will be Bree Skolaski. Brownsburg A, Addison Cole. Southeastern B in lane 5 is in second place now. We'll see if there's if they can now begin to cut down that deficit they have against the leader here, Carmel C in lane 6. Looks like moving into third in lane 9 is going to be Brownsburg A here on this third leg as well. Behind Southeastern B. 100 yards left on this leg. The key is when you're trailing like Southeastern B is against Carmel is that the athlete in the water didn't want to burn up all her energy right away to try and make up all the deficit right away. Save something towards the tail end of the leg. Let's see if she's done that or not. That being Volker for Southeastern. Makes her turn with a 50 to go. I would say maybe about 2 body lengths behind Carmel at this point. Still with 1 leg to go, and that's plenty of time to make up a 2 body length deficit. We saw that in the previous heat. Newburgh Sea Creatures had a big lead going into the anchor leg, and they were caught and actually finished all the way back and forth. So 200 yards is a lot, just a long enough distance where there could be big gaps made up. Anchor legs now with Carmel out in front. For Sugar Creek A, it'll be Sophia Melavage. For Noblesville B, Caroline Santier. Flashes A, Grace Sharp. Avon Community A, Natalie Sommers. Southeastern B, Sophia Croy. Carmel B, Maddie Lathrop. Zionsville C, Ava Fleming. Irish Aquatics B, Elena Riggins. And for Brownsburg A, Lizzie Williams. So Carmel B out in front in lane 6 ahead of Southeastern B in lane 5. And in third place in lane 8, it's Irish Aquatics B here on the anchor leg. One more heat to go here in the women's 800-yard freestyle relay to follow here. Looks like things have stabilized here. Carmel B with Lathrop has them in control. Still 100 yards to go here. Question is, will the team in lane 8, Irish Aquatics B, be able to reel in Southeastern B in this final 100 yards? That might be where we'll keep our eye. Again, every position is important because this is a time final. $50 yards to go now for your leaders from Carmel B. And we're going to have a race for second place in this heat here with 50 to go between Southeastern B and Irish Aquatics B. We'll keep our eyes on that. Two athletes for them, Southeastern B, Croy, and for Irish B, it's a Riggins. But Carmel B is going to win this heat. The fastest time so far posted in the previous heat, Noblesville A, 7:57.67. And for Carmel B, they will stop the clock in a time of 8:02.95. And getting second, hanging on to second in lane 5 was Southeastern B, 8:11.37. Third in lane 8, Irish B in a time of 8:11.52. That was a good battle to the finish there. Fourth and final heat of time finals in this session. Three teams will compete in this heat. Women's 800-yard freestyle relay. Lane 4, Northridge Area A, led off by Sam Hunter. Lane 5, Summit City B, led off by Chloe Hogue. And in lane 6, Cardinal Community A, led off by Kat Lundy. And each swimmer swimming 200 yards freestyle. Summit City B in lane 5, the early lead. Halfway through this leg, Summit City B out in front of Cardinal Community in lane 6 is Cardinal Community. They're in second place in the heat. $50 to go now. Summit City out in front by about a body length lead over team in lane 4, Northridge Area here. Opening leg here, heat 4, the women's 800-yard freestyle relay. Now, great close here by Sam Hunter from Northridge Area. May give her team the lead going to the second leg. She will here in lane 4. Let's take a look at the number 2 swimmers for Northridge Area A, Faye Hunsberger. For Summit City B, Haley Crawford. And for Cardinal Community A, Morgan Ferguson. Northridge Area A out in front. Battle is for second here. Summit City B holds on to second. Just barely, though, over Cardinal Community. Here on the second leg. Women's 800-yard freestyle relay. And now we're ready for our number 3 swimmers. Northridge Area A will be Kerrigan Tabor. Summit City B, Natalie Kramer. And for Cardinal Community A, Isabel Gibbs. Northridge Area body length lead over the teams battling for second. Lanes 5 and 6, Summit City B and Cardinal Community A. Time to beat 7:57.67, posted by Noblesville A in Heat 2. Again, Heat 1, the fastest seeded heat, will swim tonight with finals. Fishers Area A is the top seed. They have a seed time of 17:18.01. It's actually beneath the meet record, so we'll see how that shapes up tonight. Now Summit City's pulling up on Northridge Area here on this third leg. The battle for the lead here in Heat 4 of the time final women's 800-yard freestyle relay. Anchor legs now with Summit City B out in front. Northridge Area A will have Abby Sullivan in the water. Summit City B, Mila Burkott, and Cardinal Community A, Maria Alexander. Summit City B pulling away now. Now, as I said that, Cardinal Community with Maria Alexander trying to make a move here. Your waning stages of the race. Fourth and final leg here. Coming up on the finish. Summit City have enough here to hold off Cardinal Community at the finish. Going to be a bang, bang finish. Here comes Cardinal Community A. Who gets it? In lane 6, Cardinal Community A with their anchor leg, Maria Alexander, takes it right at the finish. Her team takes the win, 8:15.90 in the heat. Out touching Summit City B by 6/100ths of a second. And the Summit City B time 8:15.96.
Coaches and officials, don't forget, don't run out. Lunch is going to be served at 11:30. It's about 11:13 right now. And we still got more swimming here. One more final heat will come to the block here, or two more heats here, I guess. The 800 freestyle leader event. So again, our host, Science Swim Club, are going to have lunch at 11:30. Just about 16 minutes from now. So make sure you eat lunch here instead of having buying lunch to save you some money.
So that's going to wrap up our competition here from the North Pool here on this Friday, the preliminary session for the women. It looks like the men are still swimming in the South Pool. Separate webcast, Tony Young on that. Once again, both the men and the women will come back and they'll both compete in the North Pool here tonight, which is the pool you've been watching on this webcast for the finals here at the 2023 Indiana Swimming Short Course Championship, sponsored by Speedo. Finals this evening begin at 5 p.m. here from the Pike Aquatic Center. So every event you just saw will come back and swim tonight. The relays, though, the 200-yard freestyle relay and the 800-yard freestyle relay, that'll just be one heat of timed finals tonight for finals. And then the women will actually start things off tonight in the 200-yard freestyle relay. Again, the meet starts at 5 p.m. Event 3 followed by the men. Event 4 in the 200-yard freestyle relay. It's a time final. Then we're going to move into events that were set by prelims this morning. The 400 IM, the 100 freestyle, the 200 back, and the 100 breaststroke. There'll be a D final, a C final, a B final, and an A final for each of those events, with the A final will be where our overall champion will come out of on each of those events. So that's about going to wrap things up here this morning from the Pike Aquatic Center for Friday prelims, North Pool for the women. Once again, join us tonight at 5 p.m. for finals here at the Pike Aquatic Center here at the 2023 Indiana Swimming Senior Short Course Championships, sponsored by Speedo. I want to thank our camera operator one more time, Amy Peterson. And so that'll do it here this morning. I'm Eric Eaton saying so long, everyone, and thanks for watching.